The Chronicle of Higher Education Jobs. Higher education is not easy to start out with. It's not like going into an internship, for example, because college is more than just being able to take classes. It's also harder to get a job as a teacher because teachers want more control over their life and what they teach and how they live. A lot of people don't see that this isn't actually bad. It is better for them and better for your own future if you have to work hard to make a living and keep a roof over your head. That is why, even though colleges and universities might seem expensive, this type of opportunity can be incredibly valuable for someone who wants to make a positive change in their life. College is often viewed as something that comes to someone quickly and easily, but what would happen if you were to give yourself time and time to think about whether or not pursuing higher education is right for you? After all, you don't really know much about yourself when you only go by word of mouth and have no idea of how you fit into a world full of other students. So, while everyone else seems to agree on this, is higher education the wrong decision? You might be wondering how exactly, if at all, you should spend your money, time, and energy to decide whether or not you should pursue higher education in the first place. In this article, you will find out how higher education jobs are created and what benefits it brings to those who have the talent to pursue it, and how you can enter these jobs when you don't know if it's a good decision for you or not. What is higher education? The term, higher education, originates from the 18th century Latin phrase, a, or academia, which means school, and education. It's a school that offers a bachelor's degree and that students can then choose, sometimes paid for, to attend a different one. At its core, higher education is a higher form of education and is something that allows you to receive higher levels of instruction and knowledge. This is exactly why so many degrees come with higher costs, and it is also important to note that some degrees require specific types of courses. There are 4 main categories of degrees that exist, each requiring a certificate, that are Bachelor of Arts, Master's Degree, Doctorate of Philosophy, and PhD. PhD, although there are specializations such as business schools that specialize in particular types of skills. These certificates allow us to recognize the fact that we now have a better understanding of ourselves and our capabilities, rather than just learning how to do a quickly thing. But if we want to continue to learn and grow, then we need to earn a certification and keep teaching ourselves. What makes more sense for you? The most common reason for people to enroll in a higher education course is that they desire to advance in ways that make sense for them. If you have been trying to work towards a career change since high school, then the idea of receiving an advanced diploma or degree makes sense. Having a solid foundation from a university such as Cornell University can help you move up in the workplace, making you smarter and having a deeper perspective into things such as diversity, politics, and climate change. However, if that is exactly what you want to do, then maybe the best way to get yourself into a higher education program is through internships. But wait, there is another point to this. When I say internships, I don't mean jobs where you gain experience working with other employers. While employers love doing these kinds of things, they want to hire people who are experienced in everything possible. Therefore, when looking at more educational opportunities, these positions allow individuals to learn more about themselves and others in order to create a company culture that fits them. Internships are not as difficult as they sound. To begin, you'll need to apply and begin your application process prior to applying, if that is your path, for instance. Once you've applied and began the application process, once you're accepted by your chosen school and you do an initial interview, you will be asked for a personal statement detailing your qualifications, passions, and goals for becoming a student here. As well as that, you'll be also required to take an online exam called a PTEASURE, which stands for Preparing Yourself for Employment Interviews. Upon completing this part of the application, you'll then need to submit a portfolio. All of this is done, and once submitted, you can go forward to fill out an employment hunting questionnaire, which includes a short questionnaire about your background, personal experiences, and past experience. After the answer of all 4 questions is positive, you can then apply for a job you believe you'd be qualified for. Now, let me repeat myself. The hiring process itself could take anywhere from 60 days to 90 days, depending upon your chosen institution and employer, and sometimes it has to be redone as well so that you get accepted by them as early as possible. As well as interviews, The applicant who has applied at least 6 months prior to applying may be considered for certain positions, but it's a very long process that requires patience and perseverance, as well as being extremely important in order to reap any benefit of getting involved with a higher education. Why are some people hiring on their interest and background research? In today's modern-day job market, many companies are using resumes as a key selling point and are simply looking for applicants who have proven they have potential, they are motivated, and they are willing to put in the hard work. Unfortunately, when you look at resumes, they usually come across as generic, lacking in originality, and lacking any unique insight into what makes you stand out. This is where education, especially higher education, shines, as there are thousands of ways that you can turn that blank page into something extraordinary. In fact, there are entire careers that revolve around educating people. Take nursing, for example. It is a huge industry that employs thousands of nurses every year, who are dedicated to saving lives and protecting patients. Nurse educators and nurse aides serve as role models for other nurses, and it is said that if nurses can save someone's life, then why shouldn't they do it? Even those who have never worked in a hospital or a clinic can take classes in higher education when it comes time to apply. Many hospitals and clinics have a number of nurses on campus, some even provide scholarships for new graduates. Not only does this help students who are less fortunate, it also helps those who are already familiar with this profession, which is exactly what the government expects colleges to do. What do other students think about you? This question was posed to me once by an HR professional, and I honestly didn't know much about him at the beginning. He had a few simple comments regarding my personality and said what he thought made me stand out to others. First, he mentioned I had an outgoing nature, which is something a lot of students can relate to, particularly when it comes to anxiety and depression. Second, he mentioned my extroverted nature, which is quite strange considering this is supposed to be one of the most introverted professions out there, but it is because of this nature of mine that people would notice me more than the more introverted ones. Lastly, he referred to my shyness and told me that I felt more comfortable with interacting with people who had similar feelings as myself and would feel more confident speaking up. Obviously, none of those statements had anything